Hey, have y'all seen that new Netflix documentary called Take Care of Maya? Where her mama unalived herself because they accused her of Munchausen syndrome by proxy and said that she was faking her daughter's illness and then got her put into state custody. Look, it's so deep. Come here. Okay, so this is Maya Kowalski. I be messing up the names. My bad, y'all. That's her daddy, Jack. That's her mama, Beata. That's her brother, Kyle. And that's Maya, right? So, boom, check it. Maya was 10 years old. She was having excruciating pain. Her parents didn't know what was going on. Her feet was turning inward. They later found out that was this thing called dystonia, where your feet turn inward. She was losing mobility. It felt like her skin was on fire and needles were stabbing her all the time. So they finally found a doctor named Kilpatrick that was like, oh, I know what this is. This CRPS. CRPS is complex regional pain syndrome. So basically, you feel pain is intensified over longer periods of time as opposed to lessening. I also found out that CRPS is predominantly found in young girls ages 9 to 11. Crazy. So anyway, he was like, look, we can treat this, but you got to go to Mexico because they ain't having that in the U.S. So her parents was like, boom, say less. They went out there, put her in a coma. She came out the coma like 6-7 days later. She was good. When they came back to the U.S., they had to stop seeing Kilpatrick because they couldn't afford him no more. So he was like, hey, go to my partner, Dr. Hine. He got you. Dr. Hines started helping her. Long story short, after a year, she was cool. You know what I'm saying? She went a whole year, no relapses, no nothing. Then she relapsed. Well, that's what they called it in the documentary, like her pain relapse. So instead of going to Dr. Hines, which is still a mystery to me today, they had wound up going to Johns Hopkins Children's Hospital, right? The mama came in there real pushy, real demanding because, of course, she's a nurse and, of course, you're going to advocate for your child. So she like, look, this is what's wrong. The doctors didn't even know what CRPS was. So, of course, she's naturally trying to educate them, but she's also very blunt, direct, forceful. I don't see nothing wrong with that because that's how I am, but whatever. So the doctors weren't really trying to hear her. They had sent in this doctor, Dr. Sally Smith. Sally came in there and was like, hey, what's going on? 10 minutes later, they came in there and told her daddy, hey, bro, you gotta go. Mind you, she had only been in the hospital 7 days and you had only talked to this family for 10 minutes. And all of a sudden, she's in child protective custody of the state from that point forward. So basically, they say the mama couldn't see her, the mama couldn't talk to her because the mama had to be poisoning her and making her think that she's sick when she really wasn't. They eventually started letting the daddy come see her, but it was real strict. You couldn't talk about certain stuff. You couldn't do certain stuff. I high-key feel like the daddy was the real villain in this story, but I'm running out of time. Come back for part 2. I'm going to tell y'all more about it because say it ain't so KO. This crazy. They even went so far to make the mama go through mental evaluations because they swear that she had Munchausen syndrome, Munchausen's by proxy syndrome, even though she didn't. And the psychologist said, no, she didn't, but she got depression right now because y'all done took her baby away. And y'all not letting her see her. So they started letting the mama talk on the phone with her and stuff like that. But it was really, really strict. Whole time, why the daddy was going behind the mama back and talking to the cops. Cops was like, yo, we investigating this case, yada, yada, whoop, whoop. And long story short, the daddy was in there selling the mama out, throwing her under the bus. And the lady was like, if we release Maya tomorrow and say that she can't talk to her mama, would you uphold that? He said, hell yeah, in a heartbeat. I don't care. Sir, this is your wife. Y'all supposed to be a unit. So aside from all that, they finally went to court, right? And the main person in court was the nurse named Kathy Beatty. Kathy was in cahoots with Sally, if you ask me. Kathy was in there talking about ain't nothing wrong with this girl and then telling the girl that she was going to adopt her and all this other stuff. Kathy would be in the background on the phone while Beata was talking to Maya, talking about, Mom, you need to redirect, and just being real passive-aggressive and hostile for no reason. Like, let this lady talk to her child in peace. Like, y'all already split them up. What more are you trying to do? That make me further believe that you really was trying to adopt that little girl on the low. Even though Kathy had got accused of child abuse, even though the charges were later dropped, that made Beata antennas stick up, which it would have with me too. So they went to court and the judge ruled that she was still going to stay in state custody. The mama was like, well, can I at least hug her before she leave? He was like, nah. On January 8th, 2017, after their daughter being in custody for 87 days in state custody, Beata unalived herself. She hung herself in the garage. Now, I personally feel like the daddy has something to do with it. That's just my own personal thoughts for many reasons. If y'all want me to like go deeper into that, tell me and I'll do a separate video. But yeah, they saying that the mama unalived herself. Then the daddy, shortly after that, a couple days after that, the daddy was allowed to take Maya to a specialist in Rhode Island who confirmed that she had CRPS, and then she was later released to his custody. She was in state custody for 92 days. So shout out to Beata for documenting everything, because that's what they used to try to bring a lawsuit up against the hospital, because the hospital was saying that she never had CRPS, that the mama was faking it the whole time. But get this, why was y'all billing her medical insurance company saying she had CRPS? Dr. Sally Smith, Johns Hopkins, and other hospitals have knowingly taken kids away from their families falsely. It's all over this documentary. Y'all go watch it, because say it ain't so, okay? I left some details out for y'all.